What the Farage time now with GB News star Nigel Farage. Now, one of Boris Johnson's Operation Red Meat announcements designed to appease his backbench mutineers was that the armed forces were going to take control of the growing Channel crisis. But isn't this just more talk from the government, as Priti Patel has already been warned that up to 65,000 migrants could cross the Channel and into our country this year? That's more than double the record 28,300 people who crossed last year. And it could actually be worse than that, as 168 were intercepted or rescued attempting to cross on Tuesday alone. So, Nigel, the latest load of migrants has brought the total this year to nearly 1,000. That's in 19 days in January. I mean, this is an incredibly worrying situation. It's interesting, isn't it, Nigel? All of a sudden, there's political drama at Westminster, so the rest of the mainstream media isn't covering this, but the crisis continues.
Yeah, I mean, cast your mind back down to a dark and distant age, pre-Partygate. So we're only going back a few weeks, really. And there was an issue already hurting Boris Johnson's premiership in the Red Wall constituencies, and it was illegal immigration. Now, we've had illegal immigration in the back of trucks and in goodness knows, refrigerated lorries, everything. But somehow there's a sheer visibility about people in inflatable dinghies crossing the English Channel. And they were livid in the Red Wall seats because they voted Brexit, lifelong Labour voters. They voted Brexit because they wanted to get back control of our borders. And they believed with the Brexit vote it would happen. They voted for Boris in 2019, thinking that was it, we're back in control, and what they've seen is wholesale abuse. So he was in trouble on this issue already. 28,500 people came last year, 3 times the number that had come in 2020. And as you know, I was out there in the Channel day after day tracking this because I wanted to make this a national media story. This is prior, by the way, to GB News launching, when the others wouldn't even touch it.
Yeah, I remember.
And Priti Patel, the embattled Home Secretary, came up with an idea 18 months ago. We'll send the Navy in. And the public went, yes, please. This is fantastic. 71% of all voters approved of the Royal Navy going into the Channel. Now, an embattled Prime Minister, Operation Red Meat over the weekend, Save Big Dog, or whatever you want to call it, decided they'd reheat some popular ideas. So the Prime Minister now says the Royal Navy is going into the Channel. Will it make a difference? Right. Here are the facts. Unless the rules of engagement change, namely that we can actually physically take people back to France, and that's not being done, all you're doing is replacing the Border Force taxi service with the Royal Naval taxi service. All they will do is scoop up migrants in the Channel, bring them into Dover for processing, and this at a time when Putin could be on the verge of invading Ukraine, and there is a naval component here in the Black Sea. This at a time when China is becoming ever more bellicose about Taiwan, and this at a time with a Royal Navy that after 11 years of Conservative government has been slashed to the bone. It is a total waste of Royal Naval resources. It is ineffective in every way unless the rules of engagement change. It is yet another example of Boris Johnson telling people what he thinks they want to hear, not worrying that delivery will never happen. It is a joke.
The problem is, Nigel, though, even if Boris survives the next couple of months, these numbers could end up finishing him off. I mean, according to the Daily Telegraph, this 65,000 figure is actually a planning assumption now within Whitehall. So they just believe that it is a fact that 65,000 migrants will cross the Channel this year.
You've missed something. They found a solution. And this has had no coverage on the BBC or Sky or ITV. So let's do it now and do it properly. Last Friday, under cover of darkness, the Immigration Minister, Tom Purslove, announced that asylum seekers, those who have illegally come to Britain and have waited up to a year for their claim to be processed, can now work legally in the British economy in the care sector. A care sector that has lost 30 to 40,000 staff because they refused to have the vaccine and therefore have been sacked. So for the first time ever, we've got the British government effectively giving amnesties to those that cross the English Channel. And the number that Purslove mentioned was 32,000. 32,000 people who've come via this route will be able to go on PAYE, no visa required or anything like that, but to work legally on PAYE within the British employment system. This has never, ever happened before in the history of our country. The fact the other broadcasters won't touch this issue takes us back to the origins of why I first went out into the English Channel. And I tell you what, whether Boris survives or not, whatever the knock-on effect of Partygate is, this issue on its own will cost the Tories the next general election unless they get a leader who actually has got the courage to stand up for why people gave them an 80-seat majority.